In this video, I'm going to remove these seized calipers on this XS650 Yamaha. First, undo the banjo bolt to remove the hose. This is where I made a mess and let some of the fluid, which is horrible stuff, drip around the place. And it's a good idea to wear these disposable gloves just to save your hands with the mess. Moral of the story, put a bigger container underneath where you're working. Which you can see I finally did at the very end when the mess was made. Wrapping some cling film onto the end of the hose helps the drips from getting onto your nice workbench. I put the banjo bolt back in as I'm inclined to lose these things if I put them lying around. As these brakes were good and seized, I had to, with the rubber mallet, one of my favourite tools, tap them off to get it removed from the bracket. This is the way these are held on. It's a bit odd, but it's the way they are. With the caliper off, I could now remove the brake pads. And in this case, as the sleeve was also seized in here, I had to tap it out from its boot. And you can see how bad these brakes were when that boot is actually supposed to be able to slide within that rubber. I forgot to go through removing the rubber from the piston, that's the dust seal, but it had already fallen off because they were rotten. Remove the boot by pushing from the inside out. The pistons were so seized within the calipers that I had to bring out the old blowtorch to heat them up. As the pistons were completely seized, I had to resort to vice grips. I wouldn't recommend this use if you think that the pistons are of any use, but these were for the bin. I then switched this piston removal tool, I'm not quite sure what it's called, but you get it as tight as possible. It's a bit like a vice grips that goes the other way. And then the strange thing is you kind of have to go counterintuitive, I should say, by giving it a tap with a hammer down. This seems to loosen it more and makes it easier to get it out. As you can see, these pistons were really seized within the caliper, and I had to give a second go and another tap down with a hammer onto the piston extraction tool. And as demonstrated here, you can see that going the wrong way, tapping down, actually releases it so it comes out. Woo! And that's one corroded and pitted piston out of the caliper. Once you have the piston somewhere where you can work on it, next thing is to remove the seal from within the piston. And I have a little prongy tool here that I use to flick it out. Give the inside of the caliper a good clean. Use some brake cleaner. It's a great thing. It evaporates and it does a good job in cleaning out the inside of this caliper. And as you can see, I'm want to get right in where the seal sits to make sure it's completely clean before I install a new one. Because on the rim there was a little bit of corrosion there, I just used some autosol metal polish to polish it up, but make sure that you remove this afterwards by cleaning it with a brake cleaner. A bit of filming obviously went wrong here, and I meant to show that you put the little rubber seals, dip them in the brake fluid and insert them, and then you also put brake fluid on the piston when you insert it, because it's the lubricant that you want to use, and no other lubricant should be used within the actual calipers themselves. Next, you want to put on the rubber dust cover to protect your piston, and you also need to put the clip on which holds this rubber seal in place. Pull the clip apart and make sure that it has completely sealed around the edges at the bottom of the rubber dust seal. Insert the anti-rattle spring, or anti-rattle plate as I call it, and screw in, but don't screw the screw in all the way on the inside, as this will help later when you are inserting the brake pads. Next, insert the boot, and in this case I would suggest using a silicone oil. This is really good for the rubber and will just help preserve it as well as make it easier for fitting. It takes a little bit of pushing and squeezing, but you can easily get the rubber boot through. It seemed to be easier to push from the inside to the out because it seemed to be slightly larger one side than the other. The last part of this puzzle here is inserting the sleeve. I had cleaned the sleeve. I'd also used the Autosol to polish it and then cleaned it off with brake cleaner. And then the last part was to put some copper grease on it because this is to slide within the rubber boot. Clean off any excess grease before you start to fit. This style of brake is a bit odd to me. You fit the pads to the caliper holder first, and then you put the caliper down onto the holder, and then you've got to fiddle with the brake pads to make sure that they sit in place. And then if you tighten in the little screw that holds the anti-vibration plate, if you do this at this point when they're in position, it's better than if you tighten all the way in first, because it actually gets in the way of the pads when you're trying to do it. So you tighten them in, and then you tighten, only hand tighten, the caliper to the caliper holder, so as you have a bit of leeway as you're fitting on the brakes. When you can see that the disc pads are sitting in the correct position and you have enough gap, then place them over the disc itself and work and slide in till it sits in position, and then tighten completely in all the nuts so that both the caliper and the caliper holder nuts are all securely tightened. Next is to fit the banjo bolt and hose. Get yourself these are 10mm copper washers. They go each on the banjo bolt, each side of the hose. This is important so you don't want any leakage of your brake fluid. So you tighten these down and that's the job done. I'll be making a separate video on bleeding these brakes, and I will be using a laser tool with a compressor, so I'll show that next time on a separate video. And remember to subscribe or comment or like, whichever you prefer. Thank you very much, and goodbye for now. See you again. Bye.